So we should be live. Let me double check.
You are.
We are. Okay, perfect. So hello everyone. We are back with another AI Agents Yap Sesh with Jin. There's been a lot of you coming to watch these, so this makes me also a bit nervous, but I'm super glad that you are finding it useful and valuable. So today we have a special guest, Justin from Codex, here with us. And Justin, maybe you want to start with a short introduction, and then we'll start chatting and yapping everything about AI agents.
Sure, yeah. I'm Justin. I'm the founder and CEO of Codex. We are building agentic infrastructure. We like to call it kind of the Unity or the Squarespace of AI agents. We're in with no code. You can create an AI agent that's as complex and nuanced as one you could create with any framework. So trying to really lower the barrier to entry for AI developers, trying to promote prompt engineering as a really productive practice, and hopefully make everybody some money along the way.
Hell yeah, dude. Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Cool. I
Yeah,
guess
happy to
I'll
be
introduce
here.
myself. Dude, great to chat to you. I've been following you guys since Cookie put me onto you, but my name's Jin. I'm head of marketing at Nuffle Labs. I've got a pretty deep interest in AI, and I've been playing around with it since like GPT-2, but I just love I think it comes from a gaming history, right? Like I love games that have open world emergent outcomes, and I think AI is like the route to kind of finding emergent outcomes. And you can go as like highbrow or lowbrow as you want, right? Like you can go the full Asimov sci-fi type vibes, and or you can go like super lowbrow of like when CA, but like it's just fun. That's why I love it. So super excited to chat today, and yeah, just want to find out more about yourself and Codex and how you got started and how you guys are thinking about the market, and we'll talk about broccoli because it's just launched. CZ's cat, why not? Sorry, dog even. But yeah, how's that sound, dude? Did you have any things you wanted to cover today, or just we can keep it cash?
Sounds awesome. Happy to keep it casual. I think, I love yapping, so we won't have an issue filling the hour, I don't think, or 30 minutes or however long this is.
Cool, man. First off, sweet jumper. It looks like the Biggie pattern, but like a slightly different color. You know what I mean? Like the the
Thank you.
BIG jumper. But yeah, man, tell us about how you what gave you the vision for Codex and how did you start?
Yeah, sure. So maybe a little bit of history. Our team was founded as a DeFi company in 2020. We evolved, over the course of 2021 through managing, billions in TVL, managing a lot of yield aggregators, et cetera, into one of the biggest DeFi R&D firms in the world. And if you don't know, yield aggregation is a business. The unit economics kind of broke for most yield products in 2022. Once yields dropped, once interest rates in TradFi rose, once there was less speculation, more normalcy, the cost to develop a yield strategy is upwards of $100,000, 50 to 100K, depending on the complexity. And you need auditing, and there's so much risk involved, so much time, so much skill needed. And we realized as we started experimenting in 2023, early 2023 with GPT for yield aggregation, that it was going to replace traditional yield ag. We could create similar or better outcomes with bespoke user-centric vaults using this technology, and we could do it in a couple hours instead of a couple months, and for much less money. So that was kind of, I'm always like, I'm like outside of my work, I'm like a Luddite. I always am very skeptical about new technologies, nascent technologies. And I started out as a little bit of an AI hater, just because, especially for finance, like, dealing with the margin for error, dealing with probabilism in a world that needs to be deterministic. is really challenging. But over time, we've learned to kind of tame these models and really learn how to reduce the margin for error, improve the security, improve the performance. And I've just kind of become, I've drunk the Kool-Aid, so to speak.
Good to hear, man. You're in the right place for it. Yeah, I find that the deterministic versus probabilistic use case is super interesting because when DeFi AI first came out, I was like, there is no way anyone's going to outcompete classical ML algos with a language model, right? But then there's lots of interesting pipeline things you can do where you transforming user intents into something that's translatable into finance, or user interface is the biggest thing. But from the codex standpoint, like how are you thinking about it in terms of, because I looked through what you guys did with Big Tony, and then also like the codex website's very cool. I like it because it's so different to everything that's ultra degen on chain right now. It looks like it looks extremely legitimate, which makes me extremely suspicious because everything does not look legitimate. And you guys got partnerships like Optimism Mode and Mantle, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Where
the old web.
where are you? Oh, is this the old one? Or is this
Well, I mean, it'll change completely on Monday, but
I see. Okay. Cool.
yeah, I mean, a lot of those partnerships are just inherited from us being around so long, and really like we started out like, okay, declarative intents are going to be it in into early 2024, and we realized, hey, not only is this somewhat easy, which is usually a signal to us that there's going to be a ton of competition, but we started seeing a lot of signal that there was a place between the Telegram sniper bots and the prop trading firms, algo trading tools. There was a place for AI in the world of asset management. So have you used our app? Have the cookie guys given you access?
No, I've seen the Notion, but I've not had a chance to go through that. We can, if you want to screen share it, we can go through it. It'd be pretty cool to see how it works.
Yeah. Let me make sure we're going through a big update right now. We're migrating all of our architecture. Let me make sure it's not broken, and it is not. I can just show you how it works at the moment.
Live and prod. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it. I mean,
Yeah,
any
cool.
demos on these streams or when Jen is drawing, like it usually like this is what our viewers love the most. So
Okay.
seeing stuff. I guess sometimes listening to people just talk is boring. So when you can like see stuff, then it makes it way more interesting. So definitely let's see it.
Yeah. So this is the Codex app, and this is going to be available to everyone here relatively soon. And you can see my swarm on the right here. With this update next week, all of these agents are going to be able to communicate with each other. You're going to be able to create plugins. You're going to be able to schedule events and get everything really well coordinated. But I'll go ahead and show you kind of how it works. And the user interface I'm about to show you is very prompt heavy. And in the next update, we're basically removing all prompts. So effectively, you as a user would be able to create a bot just by moving some dials and sliders and whatnot. And I'll show you that as well once I'm done. But I'll go ahead and get started. So first we ask them to name their bot, give it a personality. So I'll call it Cookie Bot. We can define the bot's background story. So I'll say Cookie Bot loves technical marketing and data-driven analysis. Kind of cringe, but whatever. Okay. So we'll go ahead and extrapolate that into a templated prompt by hitting the generate button here. And that'll take a second, but effectively what it'll do is it will fill out the kind of markdown saying, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And this is just a little better for filling out the prompt. We're working on creating better templates, creating better generations. Like this right now, we're using GPT 4.0. So everything's a little like Reddit, it's kind of like PG. And obviously this is a financial app at its core. So we want people to have a little more fun with it. But, it's a data-driven marketing wizard who believes it has a heart made of chocolate chips and a brain wired with algorithms. So I guess, yeah, it thinks it's actually a cookie. That's awesome. So social interactions. So let's say cookie bot will interact with any post about Web3 mindshare. Cookie won't hesitate to share its opinions about trending tokens and AI agents. So you can generate based on that. And this is basically how your agent is going to interact with other accounts on Twitter. And when we go into the dashboard, once the agent is made, you can choose which post it interacts with, like how it scrapes Google, how it scrapes Twitter, whether it looks at replies, whether it looks at direct messages, etc. And you can see here the template is telling you how to handle trolls, how to handle criticism, how to handle positivity, how to write, how to engage. And it's all like this process is getting it even easier, just because a lot of times we've made like 50 or so community members just sit down with us in a Discord and literally like walk through the process. And what a lot of people have trouble with is thinking of what exactly to prompt. So we're making it entirely visual in the next update. So this is the trading strategy. So this is kind of the really cool part. So let's say they're going to trade with our stablecoin. The goal of the agent with the stable token is going to be to accumulate more stable coins by trading, we'll say the virtuals token here. So we can say cookie bot buys virtual whenever it goes down more than 10% in 8 hours and sells virtual whenever it goes up more than 10% in 8 hours. I mean, obviously, you're going to want a lot more nuance to this, to your trading strategy. And the users that have access right now, what they're doing is kind of like you would an idle game or whatever. Before they go to bed, they're updating their strategy, and then they're waking up to see how they did, which is a lot of fun. And we're getting really good performance, which is, to me, the super exciting part. And you'll see one of the weaknesses of our templating here. It pulls from like hedgy textbooks. So it's going to talk about like single-digit % portfolio allocation, and it doesn't know we're in crypto. See, 1 to 2%. That's crazy. Or crypto. Okay, 50%. If you don't press the max button, there's something wrong with you. But it'll basically be able to manage a portfolio this way. And you can see it has risk management. How is it going to DCA in, DCA out? How's it going to manage risk? How's it going to take profits? What indicators should it look at? And all of this will influence its trading strategy. So I'm going to create the bot right now. I did mention the backend.
Just while that's doing it, do you have your own stablecoin? Are you deploying your own?
Yeah, we have our own stablecoin. We have like we have the most. Cool. I would say the most technically advanced stablecoin lending market in the business at the moment. Just by virtue of having been around forever. Our team built Radiant Capital V2 back in 2022. You know, we've maintained a lot of lending platforms. Obviously, we didn't operate it. I know they recently had like some weird hacker.
No, they messed it up with their Morpho pool. I'm pretty sure they put the wrong parameters in rather than.
Oh no, I believe their administrators got phished, and someone was able to steal.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, Radiant was like $1 billion like bear market like God protocol.
Do you do CDPs as well? Or just
yeah. We do everything. I mean, we were the biggest DeFi engineering firm in the world for a while. So yeah,
interesting.
We just don't do we don't really do decentralized exchanges. We do perp dexes though. But we prefer lending, stablecoin, CDP type stuff. But the AI stuff is way cooler. And all of this is vertically integrated. And helps create like a way better experience for the end user, which is cool.
Definitely, because I think DeFi AI, just what it really means is vertical DeFi, having user distribution, intent, outcomes, choice of outcomes in one package.
Yeah, we originally started building this in 2022 as wallet infrastructure with the goal of making our onboarding costs cheaper. And it just kind of evolved into this over the following few years. So Codex is vertically integrated DeFi protocols wallet infrastructure, middleware for managing security and AI, and like the app and the interface and the creation tooling and the SDK and all of that. It's like
what chains are you active on?
so right now, this is just on base. We're in the process of adding Solana, and then we have a huge program coming up. We got a $1.5 million grant from SoFon to grow the world's most advanced swarm of AI agents there. So I would check that out. It's SoFon.xyz, the SoFon Spark program. They basically developed the SoFon Intelligence Agency, which is much like the CIA. It pulls the strings of the universe to make SoFon the best chain for AI. But yeah,
Very cool.
it's going to be really awesome. Like what we have planned will blow minds. I'm not going to give.
We should chat off call as well, because what we're doing at Nuffle is basically creating essentially, because I think at the minute blockchain architecture is essentially broken, because it's like when back in the day when you had landlines. Well, in Kenya you don't need to go from no phones to landlines, you can go straight to mobile phones. I think that we're at a point where bridging is kind of pointless. Chain abstraction is kind of a lie, because everyone's like, oh yeah, it's abstracted, but actually you're just doing it but hiding it. I think we should have more asset centric, user centric, and app centric architecture, and then link people supply to demand directly rather than going through all these random routes. Kind of like, so we kind of do a essentially a lock and mint situation backed by Eigenlayer Wormhole. So I think it'd be pretty cool for us to talk after this, and then see if we can basically plug you in immediately to everywhere, and then you can run your strategies everywhere.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I will say, kind of our growth and monetization strategy is all about keeping the chain exclusivity and running these campaigns that way. Because at the moment, we support underneath Bitcoin, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, Solana, yada, yada, yada. When I say supporting Solana and all these other chains, that just means in the app. But
But are you custodial or non-custodial for all of those?
So it's technically non-custodial. I don't want to give away the secret sauce necessarily, but we use HSM, and then we use what we're going to write a paper about, which is like HMPC, combining the best properties of HSM and MPC, so that we can create this really dynamic middleware where the user has some really powerful guarantees with regards to access and their control over the agent and its funds. But
interesting.
Yeah,
we're using like more the chain signature side of things through Near.
Oh yeah, very cool. Yeah, I've been talking to Near. Maybe we'll Near is a chain we don't support right now, so yeah, I think we should chat either way. It is like nice. I think there's a world where the status quo of I'm a user, I'm going to, maybe get $1 through Zeely or whatever the hell to poke at this chain. I think AI agents will allow teams to grow way more productive economies, and reducing the cost of onboarding. Like if your KPI is like wallets created, fees generated, etc., all you need is economy, and you need like people trying to make money. And an 100%. Agent is able to do that at scale. And when you have a world of agents generating this economy, then a user can walk in and immediately have exposure to upside, downside, left side, right side,
exactly.
Which is really cool. So we want to kind of change how networks bootstrap and how users allocate capital to networks or to these myriad of opportunities.
Because it essentially changes the labor class, right? Because we're changing the economic engine through agents, optimizing capital efficiency, and then any user kind of gets on the top end of that. So kind of the user becomes exposed to yield bearing stuff rather than just like, hey, do the thing and maybe the thing will make you rich. Like at least now you have everything else kind of being done for you. The question is where that value accrues to, right? Like, is it going to be the user? Do we even need a user anymore? But it'll be interesting to see what happens. Because we need people to take risks, because all profit comes from people risk and winning and losing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think really, the person who gives the capital to the agent is kind of going to be the master of risk for that agent.
Mm.
And then it's like you are delegating your personal kind of risk appetite to the agent. And the really nice thing is the agent is much more disciplined and much less emotional. So it's able to operate on that and operate within a series of other agents who are hopefully equally, obviously, like hallucinations is now the replacement for emotions when you're modeling this stuff. But
that's an interesting parallel. I love that. Because dude, I wish I had this back in 2017. Because like I would have loved to be like on Poloniex, just being like, oh, just if the thing goes down this much, then do this. It'll be interesting to see how PvP it becomes, because there will be an edge, there will be an arms race. And
yeah.
so I guess to zoom in a little bit on Codex, how does the data look like? What is the oracles? How does it work under the hood to make sure that it's all up to date and current and stuff like that?
Sure. Yeah. So at the moment, our main data sources are Alora, and then TradingView / Deck Screener / Gecko Terminal,
Nice.
CoinGecko, and then we can just like scrape Google or whatever with Puppeteer. So we can kind of do anything. It's like up to your prompt, and obviously, like you need to fine tune the prompt to actually get your agent to do what you want it to do. But out of the box, we also have cookie 3 data, which will be in, I believe, the next version available to users. So yeah, you can scrape Twitter, search Google, look at Alora, do technical analysis on charts visually is the important piece there. And yeah, it's pretty dope.
And what about the memory side? Is it like a vector or a KG rag kind of thing in the background, or is that still yet to come?
Yeah, everything is vectorized. The exact like specifics, we just use Neon Tech, and we have some nice data, a little bit out of my depth, but yeah, we are basically forming semantic memories over time. So as the agent interacts, every 10 or 20 interactions, it will form a memory based on pattern recognition. And then those memories will influence its behavior going forward. And you can comment on those memories. You can destroy a memory. And then a series of 10 to 20 memories where there's a consistent pattern will form a strategy. And those strategies will kind of dictate how it trades, how it does this, that, the other. So every agent is going to have over time. It's not like traditional reinforcement training. It's more so like we're going to give it way more access to data, way more access to better context. Because we're all like we spent a year fine tuning models and getting worse results than base models, and we have like talented engineers. Like our head of AI is like OG in the AI. Well, OG would be like he'd be 80, but he was working at Splash. He was working at a bunch of other really great AI companies before we tricked him into coming to crypto. But we find that the real strides to be made in AI applications and AI agents specifically are in improving the quality, the brevity, et cetera, of context. And that is like, you'll go way farther managing context than you will trying to fine tune an agent.
100%. It cuts down optionality, right? And the only real improvements is either like increase test time compute or increase the level of context, or kind of maybe, I guess there's at a certain point the memory like loses resolution, like the more nodes you have in like a knowledge graph or the vector kind of like.
Yeah, you need to constantly be abstracting. Totally.
What I love is what you guys done. Oh, sorry, I was just going to say what you guys have done with the memory thing is super cool, because there's been very few innovations in the crypto space in terms of like memory. Because what you've essentially, for like from the medical side, is that you've created active memory, working memory, long-term memory, and like a lovely process to go from that, which I haven't seen before in crypto at all. Everything's just kind of boring. Like you can like almost tell a social agent is not well done if they don't have like a wider context of the world, so they just react to the thing in front of them and try to make like a pithy remark, and it just sounds awful.
Yeah.
Which I think you guys will solve with what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can go really far with like 4.0 mini just because of like our context engine and all of our prompt engineering. So on social, we like Big Tony is using mini, and you won't really notice a difference between that and like the full powered version, simply because we've had a chance to really dig in and master the context we're giving him, and give him a personality that's really sticky. And I guess like a cool thing, and you touched on this, is because we're so context focused, you can see on the right here, this swarm panel. The cool thing about our swarms is the tighter your context, the less room for error. The better your context, the better an agent's memories, the more kind of, I'm going to say fine-tuned, even though it's really just like highly engineered context. The better it is, the tighter it is, the better it will perform with the lower margin for error. And obviously, like we have really fat APIs that have a lot of security controls for the finance stuff, but we find that these multi-agent systems, these swarms, are really effective because they can delegate different data processing tasks or execution tasks to the agent that has the tightest, most dialed in context for that specifically. Because if you're telling an agent to analyze this and then execute this and then report this in a single prompt, or even the same agent in a series of prompts, not only is it going to cost more, but you're going to have way greater margin for error. It's going to like just give you way worse results. So if you can be like, okay, here's the social data processing agent that's hooked up with cookie 3, and its only job is to take like a token ticker or take some kind of strategy, do all the social data processing, and then you have the technical analyst spot, and then you have the actual execution agent that's like, okay, this is the agent that knows how to look at volume, look at market making strategies, and execute really consistently. And you can get great results with that, way better than any other tool on the market. And the thing that makes AI so amazing is, if you're a prop firm, and you need to, write a new script, test the hell out of it, go through code review, et cetera, every time you want to start trading a new asset or have a new trading strategy or whatever. LLMs are so dynamic that obviously like there's not the same value at risk here, but it can like generate this strategy on demand that is maybe 80 to 90% as good as the professionals, as the prop traders. But instead of all that code review, and this is kind of the same thing with the yield aggregation I was talking about, you get it in seconds and you can execute in seconds. And that sort of timeliness is really, really, really important. And then obviously, like, we're not going to win on latency if we're fighting against MEV bots for like really well-known strategies or sniping or whatever. But we can win on latency when it comes to developing net new strategies on the fly.
Could we do one live? Could we build a bot that takes the opposite position of whatever Kramer says?
I don't think we have Kramer data. We can like hook into unusual whales, but we could do that in theory. I don't know if we necessarily.
Maybe we could do like the opposite of whatever Ansem says, and then see how it does.
that I think could, like, I was thinking, because there's so much noise in crypto, like the right interpretation of signals on cookie or on crypto Twitter or whatever is probably the opposite of what all of the known paid shills are saying. So you could like, look for a highly overbought territory and then just find a way to short, which maybe is impossible.
Or make like a what about the LA vape cabal? So like Rasma, Frank D God's thread guy.
That's going to be the first AI agent to be taken to court.
100%. No, what I was thinking was
Yeah.
create like this is like 4 steps, but create a synthetic inverse token of everything they say, and then like short whatever they post. Maybe like a day after the pump, like when it loses steam, because they just rug everything. I mean, no offense, like if they're
Yeah.
listening,
Now you're sued.
my bad, dude.
What the
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be entirely possible. Sitting down and tuning that would probably take 30 minutes to an hour. So what I will say
Wild.
is,
Yeah.
if you want to do that, what we're doing on SoFon is like going to highly incentivize people developing these strategies.
Mhm.
We're going to have a plugin system here soon that'll allow you to consume arbitrary data, add arbitrary functionality to your agent, allow intercommunication between agents to facilitate some of the swarm dynamics a little better. And if you are someone who thinks you can think up a good strategy, this is your chance to, with absolutely no code, create it. And on SoFon, we'll let you hopefully compete with everybody else doing the same thing for huge prizes.
Very cool. And what about the agents themselves in terms of composability with actions? So like trading is one element. What about managing LP positions or choosing yield sources? Because a lot of this is kind of like going to kill a lot of apps, right? Because if you can do all of this in one place, it's kind of you've made it like a crypto app store.
Yeah,
pretty much. People are going to make these things, and other people are going to use the things, and then you don't really need anything else.
Yeah, I mean, that is like, I think interfaces are good for a lot of users and for a lot of things. I think in the long run, agents will just be better at generating interfaces on the fly that are much more fine-tuned for your needs. A lot of it is like cost needs to go down, hardware needs to get better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So all of this stuff will be possible. Right now, I think the biggest expense in terms of adding new functionality is designing like a really secure API for it. So like if let's say you want to do concentrated liquidity strategies, you want to be able to, even if it's just like rebalancing a position, staying on tick, whatever, creating the controls to like one hallucination and you've evaporated your money. If you seed at the wrong level or you direct the pool the wrong way, it's like, okay, explosion, sorry. So a lot of the fail safe and a lot of the guarantees that come with our app are a result of like really, really heavy engineering, so that when your agent calls the endpoint, all of the security checks and all of the guarantees are given at that level. So at the middleware level. So it will come. I would say concentrated liquidity is like, everybody wants it, obviously, because it's hard, but there are so many ways for a position to explode that it's a little bit of a white whale at the moment. So we're focused on trading. We think we can create like really killer trading bots. Perps are probably next up. Obviously, like lending rehypothecation strategies or really simple kind of contango type strategies are possible. And then like Uni V2, obviously, like if you want to be like, hey, remove liquidity when volatility is high and then re-add when it goes down. That's something that's much easier than let's create this crazy option using this novel tech that there's not enough textbooks. Like it's not intuitive, I would say, to LLMs at the moment. Uniswap v3 or humans for that matter.
Yeah. What about could you in theory create call and put options in the system if you had agents acting as options dealers?
Yeah, I probably would rely on an external protocol to manage the liquidity. Like an options AMM would work really well. They don't, unfortunately, work really well in practice, but like something like Theta Nuts, we could plug into. So yes, I think again part of that is on one side, what's the demand, which I think options in DeFi, especially if you add AI, I think the demand would be fairly low, but would certainly be possible. I think the more risk management we can put in the hands of like a really deterministic system, like a smart contract is. This is why we love the intersection of crypto and AI. A smart contract is perfect to offload the riskiest functionality to. The more of that we can do, the better.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing because there's like different sides of opportunity, right? One side is the high volume, small capital or relatively small capital, which is traders. The other side of the thing is the low volume, massive capital, but low risk. So like stuff like crazy stuff like you've got all these protocol treasuries sitting at like 0% capital efficiency.
Yeah.
You could do a CDP with those 10% LTV and then plunk that into some kind of guaranteed yield, and then you could run your own put option to even take away. So you're essentially like BlackRock on chain with AI, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. That's a use case that I think is going to get eaten up by firms over AI, just because, like, I mean, Cumberland offers a lot of amazing products like that, and like Karpatky offers a lot of amazing products like that. So that's like when it comes to managing millions of dollars, I think that's not a demographic we're focused on right now. I think AI is very much for retail. It's for portfolios under 100K. Maybe getting a little bit bigger if you're talking purely about running Bitcoin or ETH trading strategies on chain. But we can even let people like auth into the Binance API. But at a certain scale, I think you're much better just hiring, some MIT quant to develop an algorithm for you.
Makes sense. All right. I mean, let's kind of talk about then more the retail side. What stuff have you seen already? How much money are people making? Where do you see the biggest opportunity for everyone who's like listening and wants to try things out?
Yeah, I think the nice thing is so far, like Tony has been our test case. We run Tony from the Codex Create app. He's been able to generally perform really well with Bitcoin and ETH. So like really well risk managed positions is how we kind of have him running. So he doesn't see much of the downside, and he's able to capture a fair bit of upside. Alora has been working really well for that. Because basically with Alora, you have a bunch of ML engineers predicting the price for you on whatever time frame you want. So performance has been great with large caps. Obviously, like Tony bought a lot of Tony tokens before we told him to stop because he's a narcissist and we let him. And his unrealized P&L is like 25K or so right now. With his Tony tokens that he bought, but it's like self-fulfilling prophecy type deal. Though we do think there's a lot of really great benefits to using AI to trade these nano cap, meme coins, AI agents, etc. Just because you can filter through a lot of signal and noise very quickly. So yeah, I mean, performance has been great. I think generally our users have been pretty performant, although we took the bots down for an upgrade right before the turbo dump, I don't even, a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Time kind of melts together, but otherwise before that, they were doing pretty good. Some were getting really good ROI trading the Tony token because it's like, it kind of follows technical patterns pretty well because it's all organic. There's nobody with like a bunch of tokens dumping. But everything is positive, but there's not enough data to conclusively say this is the future of retail finance. But everything indicates toward two things. One, the app is very fun to use and it's very fun to manage and optimize your agent. And the accessibility is 100 times better than any other similar framework because it's all GUI, it's all web-based, it's all visual. The number two is so far the agents are at least pretty good and they can do their jobs. And there's plenty of work for us to do to make them better. So right now, I would say all signals point toward product market fit here. I think we'll see where we're at a year from now, but our users are having super fun, and we've kind of interviewed the full spectrum, being the mom calling her daughter in to log in with her wallet so she can use it, to other AI engineers. Everybody is really having a good time.
It feels like a game, like looking at the interface. Like I remember playing, like I don't know if you know Gladiator bots on the phone, where you have to like set up your little patterns and stuff, or even tower defense games. It feels like a really cool little puzzle you can play with. Have you guys spoken to Hyperliquid at all? Because these AI bots would be fantastic at making strategies for Hyperliquid vaults. That would be awesome because the Hyper VDM is coming out.
We've talked to them briefly. They're not the most talkative team in the world, but we're probably going to be building on there no matter what. So
Nice.
yeah,
The Hyper VDM is pretty permissionless anyway. Like it's the main kind of sex interface that is a bit more gated.
Yeah, we're that's kind of a work in progress for us at the moment. We're going to get perp supported on Sofon, and then we'll be looking once the campaign is finished there at some more interesting opportunities.
What kind of like portfolio size are people playing with right now on the platform?
Between 100 and a few $1,000s. So we're telling people not to put in more than $100, but obviously everybody's putting in way more. But yeah, nothing at a humongous scale. I think like in our ideal world, each agent will have maybe, at the most $10,000-$15,000 in these early stages. We don't want anybody betting the house before, this is really, really mature. This is one of those apps that I think we're in like a closed alpha right now. At the launch of the Sofon campaign, that'll be probably the beginning of our open beta. And that beta period will probably last a year or more before we're really comfortable saying, hey, throw the kitchen sink at this. But yeah, it's like really thoughtfully architected and designed and whatnot, but it is huge. Like I would say what you see, that app is the tip of the iceberg. This is 3 years of constant development by 10x engineers. So it's like, it's just an absolutely enormous system. And with enormity comes complexity. Even though we've built it like, it's microservices based, nothing is too insane. But it's like a big job making sure that everything is perfect. And it's going to take a long time to ensure that.
Well, it's exciting, man, because there's so many complex things put into one easy to use place. I'm definitely keen to like spin some stuff up. It'll be it looks very cool, dude. What is the wildest crazy dream that you've not you can't put in your docs, can't put in your deck, can't put in even like comms, but like internally, what's like the craziest, weirdest outcome you could see from this project?
I mean, this is only crazy and awesome to a very boring person, and I would say I'm very boring. But I want these agents to do our taxes. I want everything that happens on the Codex app. I want to have an agent that can turn it into a really beautiful report that you can just attach to your tax filing and send off and be done with. I hate doing my taxes.
Are you working with any like crypto, or planning to work with any of like crypto tax companies like Coinly or stuff?
We're considering it. Frankly, I think we can probably do better. But we're like considering it. We're considering working with a guy to make a whole tax startup to do some of this stuff and just plugging it into Codex. But yeah, it's like I think that's one of the most annoying things about crypto right now. And all of the third-party tax services do a really poor job of classifying transactions. And we just think that would be like such a cool value add. And then you won't do anything outside of Codex. Because once we can generate the interfaces, it's like you can interact with any smart contract. You don't need to use other apps. And if you use Codex, we can help you maintain all that really beautiful metadata, so that when tax season comes, it's literally like the simplest experience ever, if you're a Codex user.
So you have your super agent for everything, literally in Codex.
Yeah. I mean, we just want the best financial agents, period. And I think we're already there. Like, we have the best financial agents in the world right now, under our roof, I would say. And they're only going to get better, and they're going to get better way faster than anybody else, because they can actually observe and execute and learn, which if you have like a Web 2.0, like Fidelity agent, whatever, one, they're probably wasting a ton of money trying to fine tune a big model, which will just be totally useless and pointless. And they're going to burn that and waste probably 2 years doing that. And then when they finally figure out how to actually build AI solutions, we'll have the God protocol. So yeah, it's just like, we're very, very lucky because we started building this 3 years ago. Like, I didn't know DeFi was going to be a thing. And we're very, very lucky because we kind of operate like a co-op, and, people that have anime avatars are comfortable working for us. And Fidelity could never.
You know how some people think like, Google is the internet? Is your aim for people to think like Codex is crypto because I go there and do everything there?
Yeah, I think maybe, frankly, I think RWAs are going to dwarf pretty much anything else crypto related. But I do want people to think like Codex is retail finance. And Codex is like, maybe Robinhood is kind of going the way of the dodo bird. It seems like the past few years. I really think Codex can be this all-encompassing ecosystem of AI-powered financial products. And the thing is, one day if you go on Robinhood and you click a button and suddenly they have a bunch of AI tooling, there's a good chance that's just going to be us under the hood. So whether it be via white labeling, whether it be through the app itself, nobody's going to have AI agents better at executing financial tasks. I think unless there's like some, turbo insane team that's been building in stealth for over a year, that's just going to pop out and scare us. And we're really excited about that.
Very cool. Because if you take away the trading aspect, you've essentially created like composable modular agents with context and full capabilities if they want to trade or not, on the social layer, financial layer. And then you just add like maybe some basic operator abilities, and then you kind of get off to the races. It's like a single, like you said, Squarespace or an app store for agents.
Yeah. It's like, product wise, I think we're not going to figure out whether we're going to be Unity or Squarespace or Shopify or what. But really it's all about, we have been doing it long enough that everything we do is totally abstract. Everything we do is fully hosted, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we're just going to be the absolute easiest place to create these AI agents.
Closest to the
ones that are actually like capable. Yeah, it's like, exactly. Because you can, like, it's easy to just create something where it's like, boop, I'm going to have this generic, I'm going to deploy this generic guy out there. But everybody has their own needs, their own experiences, their own lives, their own preferences, etc. And so that's kind of the person we want to target, is the person that maybe has a business use case, maybe has like a really strong personal use case or hobby use case, or maybe just wants to try to make some money. And I think that's a pretty big market.
Love it. Very cool, man. You definitely got at least one more user from the stream. I'm gonna check it out for sure.
Let's go. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're like, we just love the product and we're really psycho for it. And we're doing and more details will go out tomorrow, but we're doing a high float, low FTV token launch here soon. So the goal is to just get as many people on board as we can and get people excited for it. So it should be pretty dope.
Sick. Cool.
I'm extremely
excited.
bullish on what you guys do. Like, because you see a lot of AI agent infrastructure that is just not there and not ready, and you are there and you are ready. So it's like sifting through the noise is difficult. And then when I see a project like yours, and I'm like, hell yeah, like you know what you're doing, and like this actually like has a lot of potential, and I see a future in it. So, great job.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it's we're in love with it. So I hope you all like it and hopefully maybe even use it and find it useful.
I'm in love as well. So
Yes. Yes.
All right, we are moving towards the end of our stream, which has run 23 minutes over time. So this only shows like how interesting it was for us. So thank you so much, Justin, for joining, and thank you, Jen, again for being our co-host for this stream. We love having you. Thank you so much.
Loved it.
Yeah,
It's really good fun.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah, great
Thanks,
co-hosting. Thanks a lot, Christina. And thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Take care.